Welcome back, YouTube. Today we're going to be watching something different. We're watching Ballistic High-Speed because Twitch chat told me that they had a video where an RPG exploded. So I have to see this. I'm assuming everyone is all right since they made a video about it. I think the guy on the left is the one who got hit because of the bandages. And yes, Twitch chat, you tell YouTube what you want to tell them. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it.
All right.
Are you sure you're ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Oh no! Warning. Oh no. Viewer discretion is advised. All right. All right, if you're little pussies out there, you better not be watching.
Read that warning, again, let me reiterate, do not watch this video if you are faint of heart. This video does contain some shocking footage. It's potentially triggering to PTSD victims. This is for medical, educational purposes only. We would never glorify this for any reason. This is a pretty unfortunate accident, but we are ready to go over the footage together and see what we can learn from it, talk about safety, talk about our plans for the future. And there is a chance that some of this is still going to be censored. We're not sure at the time of recording how much will be censored, but we want to keep our channel. And if we put up too much graphic content, there's a chance the entire channel gets demonetized. And because of that, if you do see some censored content, that's why the entire unedited, uncensored footage will be available on Patreon if that's the case. That's pretty much the only way we can do this while still keeping our channel. So our link to Patreon will be in the description below and you can go watch it there. But again, do not watch it if you can't handle this because it is very shocking. He's okay with showing the footage that...
Yeah, like he said though, this is no joking matter. I know I made a joke about it, but when dealing with actual rockets, no joking matter. None whatsoever. You always got to take, got to be safe. Safety first. Now that, they have survived it all. You can make jokes about it like we saw in one of their previous videos or a video that we saw with them in collaboration. But yeah, I appreciate them showing this because it is like a warning and, you have to have a healthy fear and a healthy respect for the armaments that you're dealing with because you are dealing with something that can kill somebody or it could kill you. So, I appreciate that they are taking this very seriously and the manner at which they are. And in all honesty, I could understand why they would need to censor some of it for YouTube with what could potentially happening with a rocket exploding. So, yeah.
That's here. He wants to watch it. He wants to show you guys so we can learn from it. So Adam is back and thankfully recovering.
I have returned indeed.
He has. You said one like and I'll come back and here you are.
Yes. I did get at least one. It might have been me. I'm not sure.
How would you say you're doing now?
A lot better. Still takes a lot of wound care. I don't think I'm out of the woods on that yet. Probably still got a solid few months on that. The nerve stuff, never know. We'll get into that later. But
yeah. People have seen the footage, but it's been blurred.
Right.
We've done some updates on the hospital and everything, but before we watch it, if you don't know what's going on right now, stop watching this. Our last video has all of the context. We were firing different launchers. We had a Carl Gustav M2 launcher and the RPG-7.
Yep.
And we had a catastrophic failure during launching basically the final shot of the day.
Of course.
So yeah, if you don't know what's going on, please go watch our last episode and then return if you feel like you can handle watching what happened.
We were studying the effects of the backblast from RPGs because they are extremely dangerous.
As we saw with the ballistic hand.
Yeah. And
oh my God.
As we were doing it to a head, I remember counting down to 1 and then next thing I knew, I was on the ground and my arms were entirely black. These aren't sleeves. These are all bandages. They used to be all the way up, but this one's healing pretty good. The rocket launcher basically exploded.
I've unfortunately seen this footage several times. I had to save all the footage and, edit it and prepare all these clips for you, but you've seen nothing other than your memories of like the aftermath.
And then the same censored one that is in the previous episode. Yep.
Correct.
I also, for you guys, I haven't seen any of my gear. I've seen the launcher because we got it demilled and sent to us, and I've put it back in the configuration that it was found on the ground. So when we get to the launcher, that's exactly how it was.
All right, so I already know what to expect with this, and it's already making my heart kind of go. So I'm mostly curious how this is going to go for you. You've been deployed, you've seen stuff before, but it's going to be different.
Thank you for your service.
And you're watching it.
And when we were in Texas, I talked to Scott from Kentucky Ballistics, who went to something very similar, and he kind of warned me of that too.
All right.
So I guess we'll see. What's this going to be first? Like, is this...
All right, before we go any further, last chance for anyone who is squeamish or faint of heart, do not proceed, because I don't know what's coming next. It might be the graphic stuff, it might not, but you know, this is no laughing matter. He survived, so they can make jokes about it and everything. It's, you know, you can joke about it now, but the contents of it is no joking matter.
Slow-mo, is this normal speed?
This is the normal footage from the red camera, which is our main normal angle. And you'll hear your countdown as you remember, and it'll happen.
Oh my!
And then from there,
get the energy drink.
You know, we can talk about this shot however much you want, however many times you want to see it, and then we can move on to high speed. And yeah, so
all right,
we'll just see what we can do as far as what we can learn from this. This is the 3, 2, 1 word.
Okay.
See you, Ray.
Right.
Are you sure you're ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Oh my god!
Shit.
Call 911.
And here comes all the
Oh,
swear
fuck.
words in the response.
Oh shit, what do we do?
What's bleeding?
It's his face.
Call 911.
I'll call it.
I don't know if you can see there, but like my body was already like tremoring. And,
Holy shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can already see. I've got skin grafts right there.
yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my goodness! You know, okay. Hang on. I'm going to like move myself over just a tad. They're gonna have the footage like right there. I'm gonna move myself over just a little bit. Okay, I move myself over just a little bit. Here we go. Wow, that is devastating. And if you are ever in a situation where 911 needs to be called, if you're like treating somebody, tell someone like you call 911 instead of being like someone call 911. Like they did it the right way, like call 911. You need to be like, not like somebody do it. No, just say like call 911. You call 911. You right there. Like give someone that responsibility immediately. Don't be like, oh, someone's going to do it because maybe everybody else is going to assume somebody else is going to do it. You go, you right there. You're calling 911. Do it. I'm going to treat this guy, or I'm going to, you know, put my hands on the wound, try to keep everything inside. You know, just that kind of thing. It's a very harrowing situation I've had to be in before. You just demand that this individual right now, you are calling it.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that rocked my shit.
You want me to pull it back?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get into some of this in the high speed, but I mean, you're inside an explosion for an instant, and it throws you.
There isn't a second of that I could see on that first one where there was no attempt to catch myself. I'm instantaneously out. Like
you're done. Like you are immediately unconscious as far as I can tell.
that was nuts. All right.
You gonna see it again?
Yep.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Dude, I can't even see my helmet leave frame.
I know.
Shit.
Call 911.
Oh fuck. Oh shit, what do we do?
What's bleeding?
It's his
Another
face.
thing I want to point out while I'm thinking about it. So when people experience trauma, in terms like blunt force trauma, it's not uncommon for your body to seize up in whatever position it was in. Something that happened to you, you can see it right here, like your right hand that was grasping that front handle there, clamped up in that way. So when you're laying there, keep in mind this camera was way off further left than we were. So it can see your fingers there, we couldn't. So one of the things what we saw was your burnt arm and then nothing.
Ooh.
So there was all sorts of things of like, did this happen, did that happen kind of thing.
3, 2, 1.
Where did the helmet go? Hang on.
3, 2, 1.
Where? It just goes straight up. Oh my god. Dude. Oh my god.
Shit.
That's when you start gaining consciousness.
Oh, fuck.
Again. So I would say probably
shit, what do we
10,
do?
15 seconds you were unconscious.
It's his face.
Do you have recollection of that at all? Of like...
No, not yet.
Okay.
Nope.
Because the first thing
Not
I
yet.
saw
Oh
when
my God,
like my
he's
eyes
so
met
casual.
your face was your jaw
Good for
definitely
him.
got like shoved somewhere it's not supposed to be. The lower part of this part of your jaw had like moved out and it was pushing your skin out some, and the bottom part of your jaw, what's that bone there? Is that the mandible?
I think so.
Okay, the whole bottom part of your face was a bit sideways. And then seeing all the burns and thinking for a second maybe you lost your hand, and the smoke and just like the shock setting in, it was like, what actually happened here?
I mean, the launcher looks like it left too.
Oh, it went up. It went up
that's
in the
not
air.
where I was. I was, yeah.
Yeah, it launched.
What was that?
We're calling 911.
For what?
We're calling 911.
For what?
Oh my God.
You're bleeding.
From where?
You're bleeding from inside
He's
your
doing
head.
the right thing there, holding me down.
Yep. Do you have memory of this?
I don't think yet.
So you just turned off your own mic there accidentally, and then it
Okay.
comes back on later. But what's interesting here is your brain knows something's wrong, obviously.
Right.
And I think the first thing that kicks in for you with your medical training is figure out what's wrong and help. And it's weird because you're the person that needs the help.
Right.
So you're asking like, what happened? And then when Todd says we're calling 911, you're asking like, what for? Like, why? So I don't know if that's like your brain's shock and confusion, or if your brain is still trying to figure out like, who do we need to help? Like, what's going on?
Like a mental
you remember
reflex.
asking those questions?
No.
Okay.
Nope. What is all that?
Yeah, I mean, when you're used to doing something for a very long time, I guess it's like a mental reflex. It's like, your muscles, the brain has its own version of that. I guess, it makes sense to me.
Smoke from.
Fire extinguisher.
Oh,
The back
oh,
blast set off a
that's
small fire behind you.
Okay. Did I just ask if it blew up?
Is that what you asked?
I think so.
What happened? It blew up?
I said it all jacked up because my jaw
Did it
was
blow up?
crooked.
Is it weird seeing yourself like?
It's very
It's
weird.
like it's a memory that doesn't exist for you, but it's you.
Yeah, I don't remember any of this.
Okay. Because you're about to see one of the first memories that you've told me about, which is talking about the medical bag.
Yeah.
And what to get out of it. That's coming up soon. So it's probably, let's see, it's been over 2 minutes since it happened.
Oh,
So
wow.
that much of your memories, at least right now, doesn't exist.
In my truck.
First aid is in this truck. We have
Okay.
first aid.
Is that where your memory comes back? No?
Inside
The comma's gonna be on his right side, right here. Where my
inside
hand
the
was.
big
That's where the
bucket.
blast was.
There's a wall.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yep.
So your memory took 3.5 minutes to come back.
Good
Goodness.
grief. Oh, you can't see it. I'm digging. Okay. Because I remember digging in the bag.
Just off
it's just
camera?
off camera. Okay.
Yeah. This has to be surreal for you because you never saw at least your face from an outside perspective
No.
until you were like in the hospital.
In the trauma bay, yeah.
But for a while there, that laceration in your face was bleeding so much it was down on your neck. And I think that was confusing some people. They thought your neck was bleeding. So they were applying pressure there first until it was more obvious it was coming from your cheek.
Gotcha.
I don't have any medical allergies.
Okay.
Wow.
Any heart things they need to know about?
Nope, no
Okay.
heart conditions, no medical allergies. I'm probably dehydrated.
Okay. They're probably going to give you saline immediately.
They give saline IV when they get here.
Is my right arm burned?
My right arm.
Okay, is there more of that? The big ones? So this is when we start smearing all the stuff all over you, applying these pads. And
About this time was.
'Cause he's not looking at it.
Kind of went. Okay. Like someone else is doing the things that I was wanting to get done, and then I don't remember.
Kinda
much
drifted
after that.
off.
Yep. But you said I stayed up and talked, and
yeah. So about this is when I thought I should probably turn off the cameras because it didn't feel like the right thing to do. And then later I went and turned the camera back on because I'm like, this should probably be documented.
okay.
But was it on high speed?
I don't even know or care.
That's fair.
There is a little bit more of later on. This is you being treated.
Oh, okay. So we got like actual. Looks
Yeah.
like law enforcement showed up first, and then.
Do you remember this? Sitting there and talking to officers?
Nope. After the like kind of first aid stuff, I don't remember anything until the helicopter.
Okay. So yeah, they kind of just look you over until the helicopter gets there, make sure you're covered up, and this shot isn't as slow as we normally do. For this, we had the flex camera, 3,000 frames a second to see everything, and then the 2512 is like close in on like this area.
Okay.
So this isn't going to give us like hyper detail, but it's still, we're going to see something.
Yeah, there you go.
How does it go up?
Shit.
Yep.
Oh
It's
my god.
it's like a war movie shot. Like it's one of those things you can't fake, basically. It's
Michael Bay eats your heart out. Yeah, look, there's the plate.
Yeah, let me wind that back.
Holy shit.
Why does it go? Why does it go up?
So, it started normal.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
rocket's
going.
moving. We can see some propulsion coming. So, it didn't instantaneously malfunction. Like, oh my god.
This is the first glimpse of it going off.
Yeah, look, it's like bulging. And look at all that fight. Like, I don't have a beard now, but they shaved that off.
Yeah. No,
I lost almost no hair.
You had basically your full facial hair intact, and I was very surprised because
Okay, they'll show why it went up
look.
eventually.
like you're in
my
flames for a
God,
while.
he's just gone.
If you saw this footage,
Hang on. Like, so it's exploding right here, right? I'm hoping that they'll explain why, because like when I always think of like a rocket, I think of the big boom stick at the end is what goes boom. Why is it exploding within the inside? Like, what's causing it to be? Well, from what it looks like to me, exploding from the part that his cheek is on right now. God, I'm never gonna shoot a rocket, but now I'm even like terrified of that because of just watching this.
and didn't have any context,
God.
would you not have thought like that would kill a person?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's no wonder all the doctors told me they thought I should be dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like if that was a movie scene, I would expect if this was a movie scene and someone survived it, I'd be like, why did you write it like this? You could have just made it so they didn't have an explosion that should have killed them, and then you just make them live. Just make it more believable. I would be upset that someone in a movie survived this rocket explosion because it seems like, no, they should have no head. But wow. Okay. Goodness. Ugh. Fucking Gorth.
I mean, it's worth saying, like, your helmet got
fuel
blown
exploded.
off of you, your eye protection got blown off of you, your plate carrier vest unfolded, your plate flew out, your bracelet got thrown off.
Never did find that. So the helmet, you can see I don't have it
You lost your bracelet. Never did find that. I'm glad he's so casual about it.
strapped. I didn't like buckle my chin strap, but that one has a headband retention. It tightens like a hard hat.
Okay.
So I mean, it was tensioned to my head. It wasn't just like plopped on there with nothing holding it on. It was tensioned. Oh man, that launcher went high.
Yeah. And it's like actively flaming out of the failure point.
And then just absolutely ragdoll.
You can tell you were unconscious because you're not grimacing. Like,
Yeah,
you're
no,
you're just falling. So about 2 to 3 milliseconds, you were engulfed in like raw explosive flames, which isn't a long time in terms of footage, but that's all it takes.
But if you think of the injury list that I listed, TBI, a traumatic brain injury, a temporal skull fracture causing a brain bleed, cheekbone was broken in 2 places, my jaw may have been like dislocated or misaligned, a laceration to my cheek, anywhere from 10 to 15% of my upper extremities were 3rd-degree burns requiring skin grafts, small fragmentations throughout.
It all happened in 2 to 3 milliseconds.
milliseconds.
Yep. I mean, you can even see the first frame that you start to get hit, like it contacting your shoulder and wrapping around your hand. Like this right here is the last millisecond of you unharmed.
Right.
And then the next millisecond, you're already being harmed right there.
That's nuts.
Like even here, your body doesn't know it's happened yet.
Nope.
Nobody knows it's happened yet, even if they were watching it with their eyes. So the big question is, what caused this? And I think the main things that we can rule out that people wondered about was, A, did the ballistic head prevent it from venting quickly enough to cause it? So if we go back to the first high-speed angle here, by the time the blast is hitting the dummy in the head, it's already exploding.
Right.
So it's just now touching the dummy, and the entire rest of the launcher is already exploding.
gone. Yeah.
So we can at least rule that out. The other thing is...
Some people had talked about the smoke around the trigger
I covered
pack.
that. Yeah. In order to reactivate it, you have to basically drill or mill out that previously welded in rod, put your own firing pin in, and kind of weld that in place.
Yep.
So
New trigger pack.
there's always a chance that it's not perfectly sealed and you'll get a little bit of smoke venting out.
Wait, so if I'm understanding it, for at least this type of rocket launcher, every time you do it, you have to do maintenance on it after each shot to put in a new rocket and then weld it into place? Well, that's terrifying. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. So it's not like, I mean, obviously Call of Duty's not real, but I thought it was reasonable that it's like, oh, I shot one, time to shove a new one in there. Obviously, you don't do that, you know, on the fly on the battlefield. But I always thought it's just like, boom, okay, we did that, get another one, shove it in there, prep some stuff, and then fire it again. Not quite. Didn't they just say that it required like welding of some kind? Ooh. This is why I'm never going to shoot a rocket.
In no way does that contribute to the failure. There are sometimes places that smoke will vent out.
The rocket's moving, so that wasn't like jammed in there.
Right, no, it wasn't jammed at all. Kind of proper procedure for these launchers is that you should clean them pretty often. So RPGs that'll fail out in the field are ones that have been fired so many times they get gunked up on the inside. There's metal fatigue that happens over time.
Okay.
So that's a normal thing that can happen, but it wasn't the case here. I think we cleaned it with both like actual solvent cleaners and the cleaning rod every 3 shots. So it's worth mentioning a little bit more specifically about how RPG launchers are reactivated by different companies. In our case, they went in and did the re-weld. Then they also pressure test it and X-ray the welds to, you know, check that they are good, high quality welds. And then the inside of the tube is then re-sleeved with basically another metal tube inside of it. So basically this launcher is about as good as it gets when it comes to reactivated launchers. However, a weld is still a weld, and that means that around the weld is a little bit more brittle than an actual completely new tube. So there's a very small inherent risk in working with welds. So even after pressure testing it, X-raying the welds, re-sleeving it, there are still things that can go wrong. It might be worth talking about the booster itself a little bit more. So basically, all boosters, depending on the length, the size, they're always separated by sequential charges. I think it's usually separated by wood or cardboard.
Okay, why does it look like a barbershop? Why do they make it have the barbershop blood, shaving cream, and blue liquid that you put the combs into in the barbershop? Why do they choose that?
The firing pin comes in through here and it initiates the first part of the blast. So it's by sequentially, sort of like a firework, sequentially moving through these different stages of the booster, that's what allows it to launch.
Okay.
And so
build pressure in this chamber while it goes down the...
Yeah, so it's moving itself while it's moving through fuel, essentially. So in our case, a normal black powder booster might have 6 sequential charges in it that allows it to launch.
Hey, welcome, Zuros.
There are longer ones that might have 8 charges or 12 charges. Basically, however much mass you need
might
to
do that
move
after this,
or how far you want the rocket to go could dictate how long of a booster you need. In our case, our warheads were CNC machined real metal warheads instead of the thinner stamped or even printed rocket heads. So for the lighter ones, you might only need a short booster. In our case, we had a longer booster. So after examining all of the high-speed footage, after looking over the inside of the launcher, what basically happened here was the beginning part of the booster failed, which cascaded into the rest of the booster. A properly reactivated, high-quality launcher should still be able to handle that. However, there is now the chance that if part of the booster detaches from the rocket as it is moving out of the front of the launcher, it can then butt up against and even seal the venturi part of the tube. And what that means is there is no longer anywhere for a lot of that pressure to go. It all builds up at once, caused an immense amount of pressure, and the first place for that pressure to vent was the weld points, and that caused it to vent downward and into Adam's arm, his chest, basically all over his upper body. The weld acted as a release point by it failing. If it had not failed, this could have become like other videos on the internet where the launcher completely grenades. If you look closely at the failure, it's not the...
Okay, when he says that, when it would have been like completely grenades, Is that worse? Because that sounds worse, or is that better? I don't know what he means by it completely grenades. And Zoros, we might do that 2nd Pacific Squadron after this. We'll see. I'm like, when I think of grenade, I think it's worse. Okay, grenade is worse. All right, it blows up in your hand. So in that case, it would be the big boomstick on the end that's supposed to be going away from you and blowing up would just blow up right there, and that's a much bigger explosion because that's the big boom part. Okay, yeah, that would be worse. Ooh.
Weld itself, which is usually almost a perfect rectangle.
Nothing but shrapnel.
It is around the weld where the metal inherently becomes slightly more brittle. And they try to make up for this by re-sleeving it. But when you're dealing with this much pressure in such a short amount of time, and it can no longer vent through the venturi as it's supposed to, that's a lot of pressure.
And I had quite a bit of downtime in the hospital. I Googled around, and if you go to enough websites, I saw some other RPG failures that looked a lot like that.
Okay, so I'm not the only one that does that. So I have not had something as bad as this happen to me, but I did get a head injury when playing football. And we were playing just like skins. We didn't have helmets or anything like that. We were just playing to play. And one of the guys that I was playing with, he flipped me over his back. And I land face first into the dirt. And I'm like, oh, that was whatever. And then I get up. And the guy who did that to me thought it would be funny if he charged me when I got up. And as I get up and I turn around, he rams into me with his shoulder going straight into my mouth. And my teeth go all over the place. Luckily, I had braces, so they were still all in my face hole. And I didn't have to, get new teeth or anything. They fixed that at the orthodontist. Now you can't even tell. But it was mangled. It was real bad. I couldn't really close my mouth around it. I just kept my mouth open like this and kept my gums as, or my lips as high open as they could because it hurt because there was metal bits all over me. So they take me inside. And as I'm waiting for the ambulance, you know what I decided to watch? I decided to watch the skate videos of a bunch of people like face planting into the metal bars, hitting concrete with their faces and testicles and everything. I don't know why, but I've had a traumatic event where my face is destroyed. And you know what? I want to watch other people get their faces destroyed. That's what I want to watch right now. I don't know why, but that's what I went to. So he went looking for other explosive videos after his explosive video. Makes sense. Okay.
And then as you can see,
what happened to the kid who did it? He didn't get in trouble. I didn't want him to get in trouble. It was a complete accident. It was just an unfortunate timing of me turning around at that exact moment and my face being, instead of him like grabbing me, I was in just a terrible position and I was in the middle of his shoulder. It was not his fault. We were both at fault. We were just stupid and we shouldn't have been doing that without, plates or anything. Should have been doing two-hand, something like that. But after that, as a kid, I did not play tackle football ever again without pads. I would only play two-hand touch because I'm not having that happen again. Hell no.
Somebody, not me, found as many pieces of the...
You weren't crawling around finding this stuff?
Found as much of the furniture as they could.
Some of this got splintered into oblivion, but I mean, it's about how that stuff works. So it's one of those things where high-speed footage gives us a decent glimpse at what happened, but it's only going to be educated guesses. And this is based on all of the footage we've looked at, different people we've talked to. This is our best educated guess, and I feel like that's probably what happened.
I think so.
Do you want to look at your equipment you were wearing?
Oh, absolutely. I already see a lot going on here.
Yeah. So this is basically everything that helped protect your life.
Yep.
And just because of how production works sometimes, we already filmed multiple episodes with high explosive rockets beforehand.
Yep.
So it just happened to be that production worked out that way. And you'll see a lot of our safety in those other videos. We didn't even shoot the things off our shoulders. We had them mounted to something with a pull string.
Yeah, neither of us actually fired a high explosive rocket.
Not once. So we were about as safe as possible as you can be while still getting to at least fire a rocket once or twice. And the accident still happened. So I'm hoping this is a good reminder to anybody that works with firearms, explosives, any of this stuff, that no matter how safe you try to be consciously, there's always a risk of something going wrong. And it's not even something you may have overlooked. It's just like when you buy ammunition, there might be a bullet that is loaded a bit too much, or a firework that had a little bit too much powder in it, or whatever it might be.
In the
Don't
episode
play
that
with
we
fire.
released, we talked about using prototype rounds. None of the RPG-7s were prototype rounds. We were discussing the Carl Gustav rounds.
Yes.
And even then, I probably shouldn't have used the term prototype.
Yeah.
They had been tested numerous times already. So those weren't things that we were just bringing out and firing for the
The only thing they did not have yet was the way the casing vents out the back to make it recoilless. Everything else was proper.
I think there's like a different fuse because there was a little bit of a delay between the two. But so none of the RPG stuff was prototype. That was all very standard.
Especially the boosters. Boosters are like the same boosters you'd use for any test.
Right, yeah.
Todd, who's been in this industry for a long time, he gave us like the best chance at success at this. It was his launcher. Nothing about his launcher caused this failure, which I think is important to point out. It's just like a gun. Like, you give it the wrong ammo, it's not the gun's fault. Right. We gave it a booster that ended up failing, and
Yep, and I still talk to Todd daily.
Yep.
We're still friends. He has decided to leave the industry. He did a lot of machine gun rentals and then launcher stuff. Being there, it affects people different ways in seeing things like that. I mean, you've kind of talked to me about, it's like, it can be difficult. I mean, and so he discussed it with his family, and between himself and his family, they decided to get out of the business.
that isn't
Welcome
guilt.
cafe.
We need to point that out.
Right, yes. Nope, it was just a decision that they made. So you will notice he closed down all of his social medias and his website and everything. We had a few people point that out to us. We're aware. He told us he was doing it.
That is his way of handling what is essentially a bit of mental trauma from this. That is his way of handling it. That's a totally personal thing, and we're going to let him do that. That's what he needs to do.
And that is completely understandable. I mean, like, even it's not his fault. It's not all his fault. But I mean, even there's a lot of times where people will not be at fault for something, but they will still say like, I did that, or it is my fault. And they will, or they even if they know it's not their fault, they just hate the fact that something that they had that they gave to a friend hurt them. Like, no, I don't want to, like that the fact that can happen is just, it's too much. And I completely understand that. That makes sense from a decision that they would make. There's no fault in that decision whatsoever. I would completely understand that. And if hopefully they have dealt with that trauma in proper ways. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to pull yourself back from stuff, to avoid just having your brain fight itself. Yeah.
We all handle it differently, and that was his method. Yeah, Todd's still a good friend of ours.
Absolutely.
So please don't think that him doing that stuff was in any way guilt on his part, because I mean, it'd be like if I didn't post this video just because that was my way of handling it. That's not guilt. That's just, it's different when you see videos on the internet of accidents and stuff. When it's your friend right in front of you, it's different. So just have some respect and
Cafe,
just
you
give
dog.
people space when they need it, I would say.
Yeah.
So as you guys can see, we're back at the range. We have a few high explosive rocket episodes still coming out.
I thought he was going to say, and we have some high explosive rockets we're going to shoot today.
Thankfully, we're filmed before the accident, so we still have some content to come, but we are ready to move forward. And as a way that you guys could support us moving forward, a way to support his healing and medical bills, things like that, we have a new line of merchandise that just came out. And if you guys want to buy that, that is a great way to directly support him and get something back in return to show your support for the channel.
Absolutely. Yep, it's over on Bunker Branding. We got picked up. We get to work with those guys. Great group of people.
That'll
over
be
there.
fun, yeah.
Once you head over there, or maybe you're going to flash it on the screen, you'll see that you can get our classic stuff. Yep. And then also, in good fashion, I made a meme shirt. And before anybody freaks out,
As they do in the gun industry.
It was my idea. This isn't, like anybody taking advantage of the situation. I came up with it. Bryce made it a reality, but it was my idea because this isn't going to stop me. I'm back. We're going to go full tilt. I mean, I've still got, a little bit of a limp and things, but
Yeah, we'll take things slow.
We're not done. We believe in this channel. We think it's doing extremely well. All thanks to everybody that hits that subscribe button and sticks around.
There's been an immeasurable amount of positive support lately for you. We pretty well believe that we have found our core audience of people that enjoy our content and believe in us. We believe in us too, so that means a lot to us. So we're going to keep moving forward, and Patreon is a great way to support us. That's going to start getting some exclusive content over there. This entire episode is going to go into more detail, basically an extended cut of going into more detail on your armor and stuff, what that went through, a little bit more detail about your injuries, even an exclusive angle of the high speed. In that cut. So there's another shot, 100,000 frames a second, that hasn't been shown in this one. We just wanted to make sure this video could get up, explain to you all exactly what happened, at least to the best of our knowledge, and then just move forward. Bring the next couple months are going to have some pretty wild episodes. So if you guys would not mind subscribing now, you're going to get some excellent content coming well into 2024.
We try to keep things kind of clean and professional on this main channel. If you want to see us a little bit more uncensored, go check out the Unsubscribed podcast. We had some beers with the boys and we kind of let some jokes fly.
They're awesome people. So. So thank you guys for watching. Head over to Unsubscribe. Consider supporting us on Patreon for extra content, and consider supporting us with merchandise. I think that new shirt's going to be really cool.
I think the shirt's cool. I really like the sticker too.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you very soon.
Awesome. I'm glad they're doing well. I'm glad. Did I subscribe? Let me just make. Okay, I subscribed. You should go subscribe too if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching YouTube. Yeah, maybe I'll pick up some of their merch because those are some cool guys. And I hate that happened. It happened 3 months ago, but still, they are quite literally putting their lives online for some of their content at times. So yeah. But thank you for watching, and thank you Twitch chat for recommending this to me. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye, and stay safe.